Check, check. What's up, guys? I am here. No worries. It's chill. Ooh. Let me turn this down. Make sure. I hope the volume's down. Let me know if the music's too loud. I'm just going to turn it down a bit here. Oh. How we doing? The real swood. What's good, man? If you're still in the chat, yes, that is the DBGT rap sample you heard. This is actually the DBGT original soundtrack, the American version, so that would be why. Ghost Fixer, what's good? What's good? John SW, how's it going? O'Reilly Graham, how we doing? Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Michael, always a pleasure, brother. Good to have you. Hope you're doing well over in Australia. What's up, everybody? How we doing? I'm just going to have a... I told you guys I'm going to be trying to stream more. I haven't started my stream every day protocol on different platforms because I'm going to wait till I launch my school course to do that, but... Hang on, I'll point this little fan at me. It's hot. That makes sense. That explains why it all sounds so familiar. Yeah, dude. I don't care what anybody says. I think this OST is complete fire. You guys will see that and hear that I have not put the sound panels up on my walls just yet. So there is going to be an echo. I apologize. I had a box full of sound panels that my fiance got me, and I never used them. I didn't think I needed them, I guess. I wanted to, but when we moved, I was like, let's sell them and make some money on them. And foolishly, I got here and said, fuck, I could have used those sound panels, man. And she warned me. She said, don't sell these, you're going to want them. And I didn't listen. And now I need them. So I'm just going to have to get some different ones. Managed to watch the show before work in a few hours. Hell yeah, dude, that's good. I'm going to be hopefully doing some earlier streams, so. Weather's changing, starting to get cold, really enjoying it. Oh, dude, I love the cold. The fact that I live in such a hot climate is driving me crazy. This year is going to be dedicated to stacking bread so I can move up north. And welcome back to Twitter. Came across the Japanese posts. Pretty wholesome interactions between USA and Japan, thanks to the auto-translate. I have no idea what you're talking about. But yes, I reinitiated a new Twitter account. I'm having to rebuild things. It's probably for the best. The reason I deleted it to begin with is because it was so fucking toxic. Do I need to update any of this information? No, it's all good. Change of status, right? Girlfriend, fiance, congrats. Yes, fiance. We have a premarital counseling appointment on Friday. Yeah, very cool, very exciting. I gotta get her a good ring, though. It happens in the meantime. You could put up some blankets to help up. Wait, what are we referring to here? Oh, well, yeah, I was thinking about wrapping like a towel or something around it, or I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure it out, though. That's the sound of me stirring up my electrolyte fluid. What's the new Twitter handle? It's the same. It's right here on the screen. It's the bottom of on the right, at 3vanprince. That is the Twitter handle. So it's because I deleted my account, no one else got it, so I just made a new Twitter using my old handle. So it's the same. I'm gonna start trying to post on there more. I'm gonna start trying to go live stream on there more. Ooh, this is cool. The author of Metro 2033 just posted on Twitter that the new Metro game will be darker than anything we've seen before. I'm gonna give him a follow. That's cool. Dimitri. Let's go. Share Star Wars related post with you again? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Feel free. Absolutely. Need to use your eye. It's all good, man. I don't have my Instagram tag on there. I'm gonna have to go put it on there though, because I'm gonna change my Instagram tag, and I'm going to make a TikTok. I don't think that I'm going to be posting a ton of content, but I am going to be trying to go live a lot more. So, oh, I see that you followed me. You heard the notification in real time of me getting followed. That's cool. 3 Van Prince kind of sounds like a successful local courier. Hell yeah, that's me. I'm a local courier. I'm the courier. What we doing today? Today is reacting, chatting, hanging out, which I tend to do those more on my streams just because it's easier to, it's more fun. We might play a game. I was thinking about booting up like Everything or Nothing or something. I finished the first draft of the script for my video on 007 Everything or Nothing today, which it's way longer than I wanted it to be, but I have to go through and revise it, so I thought maybe we would just play some Everything or Nothing for fun. We'll see. Oh, I was gonna look at some gaming news and just see what's going on, what's trending. Let me go give you a follow back, brother. There you go. I was looking up news, but there's nothing major happening today that I found. Of course, I'm not the best at doing research on stuff like that. Hades 2 came out. I don't really know anything about the Hades series, so it doesn't really matter to me. Starfield released a DLC that apparently sucks and nobody liked. I'm not shocked. Pragmata comes out soon. Oh, and they're bumping the price of YouTube Premium to $16 a month, that's crazy. That's rough. And I'm probably, as a partner, not going to see any of it. Thanks for the follow back. Of course, man. I'm pretty sure I was following you back on my old account. Just keep it posy. I don't want any toxic negativity on my sensitive X account. It's electrolytes. But yeah, what are you guys up to? Have you been playing anything cool recently? I've been playing a good bit of Expedition 33 for my backlog brief on Patreon. So, not happy about the YouTube Premium price bump? Yeah, I'm sorry about that, man. That's rough. That's brutal. I don't use Premium. I just suffer through the ads when I need to. Because I'm cheap. Did I see Super Mario Galaxy? No, I haven't seen the new Mario movie. That's probably something I'll wait till it's out on streaming. I do want to go see the new Devil Wears Prada movie with my fiance though, because I know she really liked the first one, so I'm planning on taking her to see that on early May when it comes out. What was I saying? Oh yeah, backlog briefs. So if you guys didn't know this, I'm posting short reviews of just games that I'm playing for content, Patreon exclusive. I started with some easy ones. I put out a review of Heretic Hexen Remaster. Then I did a review of Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. And this month will be a review of Expedition 33. So I know a lot of people were asking me about that. It's not going to be free content just because I'm not doing a full video on it. So it's going to be a shorter review video on my Patreon. The best lingering will for the first time in Kingdom Hearts 2 last week. Looking forward to Mouse PI for higher later. I was watching G-Man Lives video on that earlier today. So G-Man Lives dropped a video on Mouse PI a few hours ago, and I checked out his video on that. It looks crazy cool. The fact that they got Troy Baker surprised me because I thought that game was a little bit more indie status, but looks like they're batting for the big shoes. Ditch YouTube Premium the first time they raised the prices and the workaround's annoying. Yeah. Didn't it launch at like $8.99 a month? Asking almost $20 a month for premium is crazy. That's ambitious. Some crazy Russian somehow managed to snag the video file from their theater and upload it online. Mario Galaxy is now floating on the web in 4 languages: English, Spanish, Russian, and German. Dang. I don't pirate if I can help it. I really only pirate stuff that is not available for commercial purchase anymore. So if a game is available for sale or easy access, I don't pirate it. It's bad form in my it's personal opinion. Bad form. But like old PS2 games, yeah, I pirate theirs all day because you can't buy them. If the only way I can purchase it legally is secondhand, where the people who made the game don't receive any of the money, I'm not, I don't care about pirating it. That's fine then. Which Star Wars movie would like a complete cut? Revenge of the Sith, of course, because apparently there's like a 4-hour cut of that movie, an assembly cut, and that's what I would want. Did I hear about the Nickelodeon hack? Someone got a hold of the Avatar Last Airbender movie and leaked it. I heard about it vaguely, but I didn't. I'm not a big Last Airbender fan. That's not really like my vibe. I've seen it, because I grew up and I would tune in and I would watch a couple episodes, but I never vibed with it too much. Had YouTube Red from day one of Australian re-release. I'm sorry, just Australian release. Enjoyed a grandfathered plan for ages until last year. So really, they killed the grandfathered in plan? I fucking hate when they do that. I got a prepaid unlimited everything except unlimited talk text plan on a cheap phone in 2012. I want to say 2012 with Verizon for $40 a month, and I have maintained my grandfathered in prepaid status on this 40. It's like 45, like $45 a month unlimited plan for over a decade. It's nuts that they somehow managed that, though the film is doing very well in theaters, projected to make over $1 billion from how it's tracked. Damn! That's crazy. Good for them. Ever heard of Sprawl Zero? I saw a trailer for it a while ago, and it looks really cool. It's basically an indie FPS game stylized after 6, 7... Oh, hang on. I'll look it up. Sprawl Zero? Let's take a look. Oh, wow. Hang on, let me pause the music. Unmute. Alright, guys, let's watch the Sprawl Zero trailer. Y2K is back. Okay, I see what we're going for. Here.
The hand of God rests upon your skull.
Oh, I love that style. Oh, dude, this is so 360. This is so 360.
Not even begin to fathom.
They say 2005, but this really gives off more 2009. Like, this looks a lot more like Killzone 2 or like Singularity or something. This is definitely more late stage 360 than late stage PS2. Not that I'm complaining. That's my favorite era, but yo, bro, I am the demographic for this.
If not within your mind, then perhaps in your heart.
I'm literally the demographic for this. This was made for me. Like they took a piece of my DNA and extrapolated it into a data point and tried to design an FPS experience around that. That's fucking cool.
I must melt away the wax you cling to.
Voice acting is not great, but other than that, damn, that's cool, bro. That's vibes. Actually, this got me hyped. Let's change the music to something more in that vein. What do we got? I know exactly what I want. I know exactly what we're doing. I'm changing the music, fellas, so just get ready. Let me know if I need to turn it down. I will not reveal what it is.
Brother.
Hang on, I'm getting it set up, fellas. There we go. All right, back to chat. What did I miss? Republic Commando and Killzone. It gives me Killzone 2 vibes, yeah. The golden age of FPS vibes. Agree. 2005 is more like Battlefront and Halo 2. Well, Halo 2 would have been 2004, but yes. Reminding you of BioShock. Yeah, that was, they said 2005, but I think that may have been Russian devs, and Russia was kind of behind the US. Well, that still wouldn't make sense. That would have put them further back. I think they were just guesstimating that it would have been 2005, but like, let's play a game. Let's find out what. Hang on. Let's look at every FPS released in 2005 and see if that lines up with literally any of them. There's no release date for it, unfortunately, but that's probably a wish list from me. One of the games that I was really excited about, I even made a video about it on my second channel. Well, it was a video about games that I was excited about, but I was really excited about this game called Samson, and then I didn't play it because I had a friend who played it, and I saw the reviews of it that said it's terrible, and I just disappointedly didn't get it. All right, let's take a look. Area 51 came out in 2005 on April 1st, surprisingly enough. Battlefield 2. I don't know anything about Area 51. I just know it's a terrible, like, cash grab game. A name like Sprawl Zero coming out this year seems like it should be Neuromancer related. Yeah, actually, you're right, like AI or something. Okay, Battlefield 2 plays nothing like that. Boiling Point Road to Hell. I've never even heard about it. Deep Shadows? Oh, it's okay, so it's just a war game. That looks like something I would have played when it came out. Brothers in Arms Road to Hill 30. Now, I did play that game. That game was pretty good. But again, nothing like what we just saw. Close Combat First to Fight? Huh. I've never even heard of some of these titles before. Let's have a look at this one. What is this? Close Combat First to Fight. It's been almost 5 years since the KOTOR remake tease. Yeah, that game's not happening. It probably is, but it's been in development hell for a while, man. All right, so this is just another generic, war shooter. I should do an entire video essay on mediocre mediocre military FPS games, because there were so many of them for a while. Commando Strike Force, there's one right there. Doom 3 Resurrection. Okay, Fear is close. Fear came out in 2005, and Fear is close to the kind of gameplay that we were just seeing. So I can see Fear. I can see that one. That's a really good idea. I really should do a video on mediocre military FPS games. Pariah. I've heard of that one, but I never played it. Project Snowblind. I did play Project Snowblind, but it didn't look anything like that. Project Snowblind is like a bad Deus Ex FPS wannabe. What do we got here? Okay, so that's all the FPS games. Project Snowblind was not great. Devs keep saying KOTOR remake is happening, but I don't expect to ever see it. Excited for the new one, though. Would you rather have KOTOR 3 or Battlefront 3? Battlefront 3, because unless... I don't think that they would be able to assemble a team I would trust to handle KOTOR 3. That's what I'll say. And then, as for this comment about the KOTOR remake, I would say, I would remind you that the first 2 years, I want to say the first 2 years of KOTOR Remake's development were spent being developed by Aspire. And after 2 years, Aspire had not done enough. They hadn't gotten enough done. They were removed from the project, and it was handed over to Saber Interactive. And Saber Interactive has only been working on the game for roughly 3 years, which 3 years working on an RPG of that scale is completely acceptable. Deus Ex Human Revolution had a notorious 4-year-long development cycle worth every second. Human Revolution is one of the greatest games of all time. And if I'm remembering, I think Mankind Divided also had close to a 4-year development cycle, and it wasn't even enough. That game was rushed. That game was put out before it was ready. So it hasn't been 5 years, it's been 3 years, and it's probably going to take another year to get that game where it's ready. If you want it to be good, if you want it to be a good RPG. And given the way that I don't talk about this stuff very often, but given the way that the culture war has kind of shifted, I would say it's probably a good thing that it's taking longer, because some shit that they probably tried to integrate 2 years ago is probably going to get removed upon revisions, and that's a good thing. 2005 is the year after Creed Battle for Savitar. Ah, Michael, I see you also watched Civi 11's new video, which was baller. I am on the game when Civi posts. When Civi posts, I'm there, day one. You should really play the Deus Ex game. I can't believe you haven't played Deus Ex, dude. What are we doing here? If you've never played a Deus Ex game before, start with Human Revolution. A lot of people would want to tie me up by my fingers for saying that, but Human Revolution is the most accessible to a new audience who has not played a Deus Ex game before. So start with Human Revolution, I would say. Move on to Mankind Divided, because Mankind Divided it is going to be a significantly less satisfying experience, but it's still going to be good enough to make you want more. Then go back and play the original Deus Ex, because now you kind of get it. You're introduced to the world, but you also know, all right, I'm going to an old game, but you're invested enough to where you will subconsciously want to overlook the dated gameplay just to kind of get into it and experience it. Did they ever release the Deus Ex remake? That was supposed to come out like 2 months ago, wasn't it? I know Aspire's doing it, I think. And they put a huge delay on it because it looked so bad. Did that... How far was that delayed? Let me take a look. Oh, wow. They delayed it beyond... They just don't have a release date for this. That's probably smart. It didn't look great. It's probably smart that they have delayed it indefinitely. It needs work. The further away it happens, the better, more chances you get devs who actually care about the project rather than any ulterior motives. Yeah. I did find the original big box PC release of the original at Goodwill, bought it, but don't have the hardware to run it. Oh, it's cool just to own, dude. I don't even have a disk drive in my desktop, but I have physical copies of Quakes 1, 2, 3, 4, and Enemy Territory. You can't even play Enemy Territory anymore. I think it's unopened. I have an unopened copy of Quake Wars Enemy Territory. I don't have a disk drive to run it. Even if I did, the game isn't playable, so it doesn't matter. I just own it to own it. Hello to everybody, and what's up? I would love to see a remastered version of the original game for the Xbox like they did with System Shock. You're talking about Deus Ex? The System Shock wasn't a... Oh, wait, okay. Do you mean the System Shock remaster Night Dive did, or the System Shock remake? Because they're completely different. The System Shock Enhanced Edition is just the original game with some quality of life updates. The System Shock remake is a made-from-scratch, different game that is just very similar retelling of the original game, and in my opinion, way better. Like, no shade on the original System Shock, but that game is like doing homework to try to fucking play. The remake is fantastic. What's good? Welcome, Dizzy. Welcome to the stream, brother. Which Star Wars era would you like a TV show based off of? All right, I'm going to assume that you're asking that question with the obvious caveat of if it was done right and well written, right? So I'm just going to assume that that's asked with that caveat in mind, because as it stands, none. Because they need to get their act together before they start doing TV shows. Maul Shadow Lord has been really good. But that's the first product Disney has put out under the Star Wars IP ever since purchasing the brand that has been good. And it's not done yet, so there's still time to fuck it up because it's 10 episodes long and I've only seen 4 of them. So we'll see. But now that Filoni's in charge, assuming with the caveat that whatever they put out was going to be good, Old Republic, obviously. Especially since we're getting the Fate of the Old Republic RPG. Let's get a show in the Old Republic. Make it good. Make it angsty. Get just give me a little bit of masculine energy in there. I mean, man, it's been rough for us Star Wars fans, bro. Should probably pick up a USB external optical drive before they become vintage and you run 200 plus. Not a terrible idea. My parents have like 5 or 6 of them laying around. It's not a concern for me. It's not a priority, and I don't know what I would run on a disc that I couldn't just download. Like, this is the future, baby. We don't. System Shock Remake is amazing. Yes, one of the best games I've ever played. Either one of the System Shock games, as long as they did a good job with it. I think their main focus is System Shock 3 right now, right? Like they've been working on System Shock 3 for like 10 years. And I'm not saying that negatively because Night Dive worked on the System Shock remake for like 8 years. Like they were doing that System Shock remake for a while. But it was never in development hell. They're just a very small studio and they take on big projects. System Shock Remake came out. It's fantastic. I haven't completed it because I've been too busy, but I got over halfway through and I said I want to stop playing this and really dive into it when I have time. Maybe do a video on it. Maybe a backroom brief. That'd be great because now that I'm doing reviews of games on my Patreon, that'd be a great excuse to do that. Obligatory Andor is bloody amazing mention. Wasn't a fan of what I watched of Andor. I did not like the Bad Batch, and I didn't like the Clone Wars Season 7. Do I think Filoni is obsessed with Ahsoka? Yes, I do. But that's that. I mean, look. Obviously, this is subjective opinion, but no. The Bad Batch was phoned in my opinion. Clone Wars Season 7 felt like a desperate attempt to recontextualize Revenge of the Sith in ways that Revenge of the Sith did not need to be recontextualized. And yes, Filoni is most assuredly obsessed with Ahsoka. At this point, she is like his self-insert. She needs to be killed off. We know now from a recent leak that Lucasfilms has put a hard contract out to not contract, but a hard, fast rule of no Mara Jade. Like, no Mara Jade. Apparently, people who work on Star Wars projects keep asking, like, can I do Mara Jade? Can I do Mara Jade? And Disney keeps saying, absolutely not. And I'm convinced, purely baseless speculation, but I'm convinced that the reason there is a absolute annex on Mara Jade usage is because Dave Filoni wants Ahsoka to fill that role. I think that there's no Kyle Katarn allowed because Andor is the new Kyle. And they don't want Kyle to come in and everybody's like, yo, this is so much better than Andor because he's cool. I think that's what's going on with Mara Jade. I think that they have a hard and fast no Mara Jade because Ahsoka is Disney's Mara Jade. As someone who is a Star Wars fan but also a big-time Star Trek fan, as someone who loves the franchises, I understand where you're coming from. Bro, as a Star Trek fan, I think you might have it worse. I'm not a Star Trek fan. I've never liked. My brother likes Star Trek. My brother loves the original Star Trek series, and I think he liked 1 or 2 of the spin-off series, because I think he liked Enterprise, and I think there was one other one that he kind of liked. But he loves the original series. I could never get into it. I was bored to tears by the Star Trek. That's not my vibe. But anyways, I think you have it way worse because I don't think any of the Star Wars content has been so bad as what they've done to Star Trek. So my condolences, brother. My condolences on that one. I miss back during the classic Battlefront days when the clones didn't have a chip forcing them to do Order 66. It made it more impactful when that one group of clones defied the Order. I think the original... It wasn't a chip, but I'm pretty sure in Legends they were, like, programmed. Like, they were programmed to do it. It wasn't like a chip or anything, but I do agree that it was more impactful when... Because that's the problem with Star Wars, is it's afraid to humanize bad people. It's afraid to humanize human beings, or in this case, clones, but Disney does not like to take a bad person who's doing bad things and humanize it in any way. So what they said was, the clones are cool, they're the good guys, they're friends, but the chip is forcing them to do something they don't want to do, when in reality, there have been people who are trying to do the right thing that do heinous things because they're flawed. And it was much more interesting when the clones knew what they were doing, and they were like, this is our orders, we gotta follow orders. We gotta do what we're supposed to do. Because that's real. That happens. You're a Star Trek fan. You're rewatching Deep Space Nine now. Yes, we have it way worse. Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks are great. That's about it. Yeah, you guys have it bad. I don't envy the position of Star Trek fans in the modern age. I don't like Red Letter Media. I think that they're hacks, but... I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's a Red Letter Media clip where he says, what's it like to see all the franchises you ever love crash and burn and get destroyed or something? And the other guy goes, great. That's about how it is right now. You always figured it was indoctrination and conditioning, which makes way more sense. And we have plenty of historical precedent for. But with Neuralink, I bet you we're going to get brain chips that make us do crazy things. It's coming. Having access to aimbot on Counter-Strike is going to become not worth it whenever Elon Musk starts programming us to do crazy shit. Dude, that's so stupid that they would not want to do Mara Jade. Her character is awesome, and I'm sure there are a lot of young women who would like her character. I think that there's something going on with that where when people were criticizing the hell out of every female character that Disney put out, because Disney would put out these characterless, flawless cardboard cutouts that were in the visage of a female and say, strong female warrior. And what they meant was character who is perfect, makes no mistakes, is likable. Like, we've been over this with Star Wars. And when people didn't like that, they said, dude, do Mara Jade. And I think because she's great. She's flawed, but she's strong and she's capable. And I think what happened is Disney... it has a chip on their shoulder about that because they want a perfect protagonist that has no flaw for a myriad of reasons, not least of which is marketability. I watched a video about Mickey Mouse a couple weeks ago, and it broke down the reason Mickey Mouse wasn't in any Disney movies for like almost a century is because Disney had a mandate that Mickey Mouse could not be seen making a mistake because he represented the Disney brand. He represented the theme parks. So the Mickey Mouse character could never be depicted as making any mistake, having any flaw, saying anything. This is real. You can look this up. It was all verified by this video. So that's why you had movies like a Goofy movie, which were relatable and emotional and passionate, because you'd see the characters making mistakes. You'd see the characters being human and failing and faltering. And as humans, we'd watch it, we'd be like, wow, this is relatable. But brands hate that because immediately now there is footage of the character you want to sell being imperfect. So I think that's what's going on. I think they wanted Rey to be a character like a Mickey Mouse. I think they wanted Rey to be a character that there was no depiction of her making a mistake or failing or faltering or stumbling and having to learn accountability and accept I messed up. This is my fault. It is my responsibility to own up to it, to work harder, to acknowledge that other people are trying to help me and I let them down. All great things that main characters have to be compelling, to be relatable. But I think she was suffering from Mickey Mouse. That's my new theory. That's just because I watched that video. I think she was suffering from Mickey Mouse syndrome, where the company did not want their hero with that was going to literally be on cardboard cutouts, that was going to be literally be on soda can boxes and stuff. I think they didn't want her to have any flaws because it's not good for branding. That's why Mickey Mouse is in no Disney movies. When I was a kid, I used to wonder, I was like, if Mickey Mouse is the face of Disney, how come I never see him in anything? I always see like Goofy, I always see these other characters. It's because they wouldn't authorize it, because Mickey Mouse could not be depicted as making a mistake. This is real. You can look this up. Anyways, in Battlefront 2, one of my favorite lines is when the clones were glad the helmets didn't let their Jedi see their eyes because they couldn't bear to look at her in the eyes. Oh yeah, dude, that's so good. But again, that's letting your character be flawed. Man, I just got to Act 2 of Expedition 33. I think I'm almost there. I've already had the spoiler for what happens at the end of Act 1, so I'm waiting for it because I know what's coming, and I'm gonna be real, I don't know if I'm going to keep playing past the end of Act 1 because I don't like any of the other characters. I know that Mael is kind of the real main character, but spoiler alert, by the way. Sorry about this, but it's been out for months. I like Gustav. That's the one character that I'm like really resonating with, and I know that a different like guy comes in and kind of takes over, but I'm a big Daredevil fan, and a big part of the reason I wanted to play this game is because Charlie Cox is voicing Gustav, and I thought that was cool. And when he's not in there, I don't know if I'm going to care enough to keep pushing through Acts 2 and 3. I think the world is really cool, and I have a deep appreciation for what they've established, but I don't know if it's resonating enough with my personal tastes for me to want to continue past Act 1. We're going to see. Either way, it's going to be in my backlog brief on Patreon. We'll see. That's probably why Disney is so hesitant to re-release Runaway Brain. Oh, yep, Runaway Brain was a huge topic in that video that I'm referencing, because they did that movie, and I gotta find that video. It's so good. The guy did his research, but Runaway Brain had 3 endings. Like, they made it, and it had one ending, and Disney said, absolutely not, change it, make it less dark. So they made it way less dark, and Disney came back and said, again, still too dark. You have to make it less dark. And they changed it again to make it even brighter. So the original Runaway Brain was way more twisted. But Disney wouldn't sign off on it until it was lightened up a lot. And even then, after that, they like released it, played it like once, and then immediately said, no more. Mickey Mouse has no Runaway Brain. Mickey Mouse is perfect. You will purchase products with Mickey Mouse on it. Haven't played more than 10 minutes of Expedition 33 yet. Got bogged down in Elite Dangerous, so skipping the spoilery section. All right, we're done with it. We're done with E33 talk. Sorry about that, Michael. I'm not going to be done with E33 in time to backlog brief it this month, though, so I'm going to have to find something shorter on my backlog to blow through. I have an idea, but I think it still would be too long. I'm checking my Steam list to see if there's anything on here, because we are halfway through the month. Shout out to the person who uploaded a 4K film scan of Runaway Brain onto the Internet Archive. Yeah, dude. There is a really twisted came back to Mickey Mouse talk. Let's go. All right. No more E33. There is a twisted, abusive, parasocial, dependent relationship between art and business. I'm trying to think of the right words. Like, it's an abusive relationship. It's an abusive, parasocial. Parasocial might not be the right term. I think codependent, abusive, and codependent. So the relationship between art and business is abusive and codependent, because everything about what the best elements of each side are completely contradict the other. Good business is finding what works, repeating it, hammering it, proceduralizing. Good art is pure emotional expression. And there's a lot of times when pure emotional expression is unrelatable and it sucks. Like it's just actually, it's low quality slop, but it's pure. It's pure emotional expression, but it's bad, unrelatable, low quality slop. Which is why you need the proceduralization element of business. But the best art is also pure emotional expression. And the same thing that refines the negatives of art kills the best parts of art. So it's really rough, man. It's especially rough trying to be someone like me who is trying to do both art and business, because I have to like split my personality into making financially conscious decisions and artistic integrity decisions. It's hard. It's gonna cause me to become schizo. You only get an hour or two to play every couple of days to a game, so now it'd be so going. Dude, that game is so fucking long. I'm 8 hours in and I haven't gotten past chapter 1. But granted, I have so little time. I have so little time to do stuff like that. So I've seen people play Expedition 33 and it looks like a real enjoyable game with an interesting story. It is. It's. I switched to easy mode because I was getting annoyed. The story's cool. It's really not my flavor. But I appreciate it. I appreciate that game so much. I'm trying to think of the right way. It's like, imagine there was a genre of music that is so incredibly talented that you can't help but like listen to it every now and again because it's so good and you appreciate it. But it's not what you would normally listen to for pleasure. That's kind of how, because I'm really not a big fan of turn-based RPGs. Well, that's not really it's kind of an RPG. I'm not the biggest fan of turn-based games in general. But every now and again, a game will be so good that I actually can't help but play it. Persona 5, I think, was really the first game I played. Not technically KOTOR, that doesn't really count because that game is so good. But no, it does count actually. But I don't like turn-based combat. But if the game is good enough, I'll completely overlook the combat to enjoy the game. Persona 5 was the first turn-based combat game other than the KOTOR games that I think I really just could not put it down. I just poured 50 hours into Persona 5. I couldn't put it down. It was so good. But it's turn-based. It's turn-based dungeon crawler, basically. Both of which are genres of games that I don't typically vibe with. And it's that way with Expedition 33 with me as well, but to a lesser degree. I think it's really cool. I think the story is compelling. I think the environments are beautiful. I think the characters are interesting. But not as much as Persona. And it's not really hooking me. And the fact that I had it spoiled for me is even worse because the one character I really like... Okay, I'm not going to... I said no more Expedition 33. Saw an interview with Vincent D'Onofrio where he talked about taking a movie role because the director showed him an avant-garde travel ad he shot. That's some artistic integrity. That is. But Vincent D'Onofrio is the man, though. I am always... Oh, hi, Rodolfo. Welcome to the stream. Supposed to announce Metro 2039 on the 16th. They're doing one to freak out a little bit. Oh, yeah, dude. I'm really excited about that. I love the Metro games. I need to beat Exodus because I beat 2033 in Last Light. I think definitely one time per. I may have beaten one of those a second time. I'm trying to remember. But I know I've definitely beat both of them once. And I got a good way into Exodus, then I stopped for some reason. Great. It's a great idea for my backlog. But Vincent D'Onofrio, dude, I'm so used to seeing him as the Kingpin that when I see him in interviews, it really shakes me up of how good of an actor he is because I'm like, this is a different person. This is not the same human that is in Daredevil. But it is because he's that good of an actor. Because regular Vincent D'Onofrio, he talks like this. He's kind of soft-spoken. He speaks really smooth. He's very likable, kind of charismatic. And then he like turns into a different person when he speaks as the Kingpin. Crazy. Seeing how buff Vincent D'Onofrio is, I know they bulked him up for Kingpin, but hell. Is he bigger for S3? Because he's the smallest he's ever been in Born Again Season 2. I've been watching season 2 with my fiance as it comes out, and Born Again season 2, he is the smallest he's ever been. I mean, he's got some muscle, but he's definitely trimmer. So, has he bulked up for Born Again season 3? I don't know. Like they took the combat from Legend of the Dragoon. Never played it, but I had a friend who really liked it many years ago. Actually playing Metro 2033 Redux after redo after hearing the announcement of Metro 2039. Yeah, now's a good time to do a series on it. Probably. I'm not going to, but people think Charlie Cox is American. Oh yeah, it's because he does such a good American accent. He does a really compelling American accent. But no, all of our best actors are British. And I say that, of course, because according to an ancestry test, I am mostly English. I may be born in America, but I'm like colonizer blood American. Like I am like 70-something% British English DNA. It's a suit, you're pretty sure? Oh, for season 3? Damn. Well, I know that he was physically just a unit in the Netflix series, but from what I understand, you know, he's getting up there in age. It just wasn't healthy to keep him that size, to have him be that fucking big. That's not healthy. So I don't really have a problem with him trimming down a little bit, because the suits are still making him look beefy, and his performance is so good. Now, what I will say, if he had been casted as Kingpin now, at the size he is, at the age he is, I think I would probably have a problem with it. But because he's been Kingpin for so long and we have that history of him, it's completely acceptable for him to be MCU Kingpin. Have a look at a recent photo of him. Let me see if there's a leaked season 3 photo. Let's see. I don't see anything. Let's try typing this in. I don't see any photos. I might have to do some looking later. One way to say you are English is by saying, "I'm not sure," from that Obi-Wan game. Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. His recent GQ interview. Let's have a look at that. Let's have a way so I can type. Let's see. 4 days ago. I'm gonna mute it, but. What are you talking about? He's leaner here than he's ever been. I mean, he's muscular. He's definitely fit. Like, he's got some muscle definition, but completely different build in real life to screen. Dude, he's lost a lot of weight. But I mean, if he keeps getting this tone, they're going to need to put him in a fat suit, which I'd be okay with. I mean, they have a CGI character model for Daredevil that they use in Born Again, so I don't care if they put him in a fat suit. I remember that viral story where Christian Bale put on a bunch of weight to play, I think he played Dick Cheney or something, and Gary Oldman played Churchill, if I'm remembering correctly. And Gary Oldman wore a fat suit, but it was so convincing that Christian Bale asked Gary Oldman, "How did you put on all that weight for the Churchill role so fast?" And Gary Oldman said, "Dude, I wore a fat suit. Why did you gain so much weight for a role, dude?" Christian Bale was like, "I regret it. I shouldn't have done it." Getting like ultra shredded healthy for a role is one thing, but just getting mad fat is so bad. Like, you're gonna have permanent, unreversible negative side effects to your physiognomy if you get really fat and then lose it all. That shit is not good. Maybe we should play a game. Maybe we should play a game. Let me take a look. What can we play? Everything or Nothing? That's Christian Bale. Yeah, classic Bale. Maybe I'll run a poll. What do I got? I've got... We play Everything or Nothing. Can play No Man's Sky. I feel like we don't. I feel like I'm not trying to play for that long. Or we could just hang out. Hang out for another few minutes. They can always donate their fat like Charlie from Smiling Friends did. Is that from a new episode? Because I don't have HBO Max anymore, so I can't watch the 2 new episodes they just put out. I need to finish my series on Quake. It's just sitting there waiting for me to finish it. Let's check out... Oh, I'm gonna leave that up for a minute. Let's check out... Let's go see if there's any gaming news for me to talk about. Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake leak confirms new content. GTA leak raises Take-Two Interactive stock value by over $1 billion. Fuck. League, Valorant, League. Damn, there's a lot of League news. Marvel Rivals Season 7 provides Blood Hunt. Oh, that looks cool. Oh, Black Cat's coming to Rivals. That's cool. Marathon's getting a new mode. I haven't played Marathon. I'm iffy on it. I've had some people tell me that it's good, but the people I've had me tell me it's good are typically like 70-30 on whether or not I agree with their taste. 70% I do agree with their taste, but... Oh, Legend of Zelda has wrapped filming. That's cool. I might see that. New Insomniac Spider-Man project. They should just do a Daredevil game already. Bloober Team is currently working on 7 horror games. How big is that team? How many employees does Bloober Team have? That is insane. The OG Black Flag still holds up. I'm worried the remake will not hold up. That is not a game that needs a remake. The original Assassin's Creed needs a remake, not Black Flag. That's fucking crazy. Should I get Marathon, guys? I really hate that they wipe out all your progress every 3 months. I'm really concerned about what current market conditions will do to gaming between Middle Eastern ownership and tightening belts. We are about to see the top end of town become a more risk-averse. Triple A gaming is about to be... It's about to lose a lot of value. Because you're right. Middle Eastern ownership has bought up lots of shares and lots of stakes in a lot of studios, and it's indie games. Fine, old games and indie games is what I'll say. That's where you're going to need to look for good content. Books, start reading books. It's not just Middle Eastern ownership, and AI is about to... People have put scales over their eyes as to how much AI is going to alter the media content landscape. First off, it can code. And you'll have people say, yeah, but it's unreliable code. Yeah, but it's messy code. You can't trust it. You can't rely on it. Shut up. All true right now. In a couple of years, it will code flawlessly, better than humans. It is only going to get better. And people are, and I'm not saying this from a pro AI stance, by the way. This is not an advocation for the tech. It is an observation of reality. The amount of, it's, okay, I'm going to get a little bit esoteric on you guys. We only got 5 people in chat right now, so you guys are about to see a different side of me, all right? You're about to see an esoteric side of me, so just bear with me. There is something inherently divine about art and creating things. And when I say divine, I mean that's not hyperbole. I mean there is a spirituality, a truly physical thing that occurs when a human being is creating something artistically. It is tapping into an energetic force that is God, because God created existence. God created everything. He spoke existence into existence. So God is the creator. That's what we call him. He created. You refer to all of creation had a creator. So mankind, being made in the image of God, are simply emulating that process in a microform. When we create something, we are a simulacrum of the original. We are tapping into a divine kind of creation energy. That is, it's like, imagine if you were a father and you had a job and you saw your child like doing a play version of that job with toys. It's kind of like that, but we are the child with the toys. That being said, when someone sits down and creates something using a machine that is doing the creation, I don't want to be like a dickhead about AI art or anything like that. I've used it to see what it can do, to understand it. I don't want to be an insufferable like anti AI person, because I can't listen to them talk. They're insufferable. I'm not an AI bro either, an AI tech bro. I'm really not pro AI. I'm very much somewhere in the middle where it's like, I think AI is altogether bad. I think it's a negative. I think it's not going to help. It's bad. If somebody put a switch in front of me, said flip it, AI will be gone, I'd flip it immediately, no hesitation. But I'm also of the party that says it's over. You are fighting a lost battle. You need to shut up about how bad AI is and get to work figuring out how to cope with the new existence of AI being here. And the point of saying all that is there is something inherently fake about. I'm okay with using it for a lot of stuff. I'm even okay with using it like generative AI to a degree, at least in the relation to what I'm talking about. There's a lot of things that need to be worked out about the fact that it's when you generate art using AI technology, what you're doing is asking a machine to create a facsimile of what a bunch of other people have done. It is without soul, and I think that can be fine. Like if a game studio is trying to make a game on a budget, meeting deadlines, and they need a texture for a wooden box, and they say, fuck it, just ask the AI to just generate a box texture, and they use it for something like that, I don't think that that's going to inherently taint the product if the rest of it is sincere. But what I'm talking about is going to be such access to the tools to create indie games that the quality of the indie games will be horrible, because as you learn how to create stuff, the challenge of learning it, refining it, overcoming failure to do so is a huge part of what makes art so valuable, because it is in the DNA of that art is the struggle of the person who made it. It's why people like natural diamonds more than lab-grown diamonds, even if we don't admit it or acknowledge it. It's why people like movies and games where whenever you look at the backstory for it, the people who made that game were in hell. So people always talk. I just did a video on this called "How Halo 3 Survived Development Hell." The studio, people are like, I want the old Bungie back, but when they were making Halo 2 and 3, they hated it. They fucking hated it. They were working 18-hour days. According to developers, a lot of divorces happened in that time during the creation of Halo 2. Halo 2 ruined people's lives that were making it. And we love it. We love that game. What a fun game. Because the struggle is very real. It is a very human product. It is the result of pain and suffering. And when you siphon that reality from a piece of art, it immediately feels less human. It's why we look at old paintings from artists who were depressed and hurt themselves to make it, and we're like, wow. And then you look at art from like a rich person who wanted for nothing, and you're like, okay. It's like, I get it. Not bad. It looks good. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to make statements, but I'm just observing how we tend to act as people. That's my rant. That's my rant to the 5 or 6 people in chat. We're starting to see the true cost of becoming exposed. I wonder how many companies will be wrecked when their cheap AI tools become more expensive than just hiring a meat puppet to do the work. Well, that's a good question. The real question is, will that ever happen? I think the real question is, will it ever become more expensive to host an AI bot than it is? Because right now it's not. Right now, there's several AI that you can use for a limited time for cheap. I think Claude AI is like $20 a month or something like that. If you shell that out, you can, I mean, it's probably going to go up in price as it gets better, I assume. But I read somewhere that the Claude AI functionality is actually getting worse with new iterations. And I've heard some conspiracy theories that the AI industry is actually a giant bubble, and it will be unable to sustain itself for very much longer, and it's gonna crash like a fucking freight train. I think I heard Google pulled out of Sora. I heard they're pulling way out of the VO generative stuff. I've heard a lot of companies are getting real nervous because they have poured so much money into AI under the presupposition that by doing so they will be able to fire half their staff, and it's not manifested quite to that point yet, although it looks like it could. I don't know. This is all stuff way out of my wheelhouse. Let me finish all of that ranting off with the reminder, I'm just a YouTuber. I am not, these opinions, they don't really mean anything. This is just a guy who plays video games and writes scripts for a living, observing stuff and responding based on what I conceive. As long as these companies are happy to burn piles of money to shift their labor force, it will be cheap. Already a lot of pension funds have decided the industry is too risky. That's what I've read. That's what I've heard, is that a lot of people are pulling away from AI because they're deciding that it's not going to pay off. And then you've got like the Seed Dance 2.0 had that huge lawsuit because people were using it to like generate Spider-Man fights and stuff. But now that they had the lawsuit, and then they implemented a ton of measures where you can't generate videos on IPs anymore. So my understanding is that if you try to upload an image or a prompt asking Seedance to make a video on anything that is a pre-established AI, it will literally just reject it as ineligible. And I think the fact that they had to do that is going to kill half the interest in AI to begin with, Because there's this big fear around generative AI that people are going to use it to create original products, and it's going to be this really competitive industry. John Carmack had this opinion, and I don't want to argue with John Carmack because he's literally like a high IQ super genius. I disagree, but I want to preface it with I'm the stupid one between the two of us. But what I see happening is people being really excited to play with AI like a child in a box of toys. AI is really cool if I can generate a video of Superman fighting X-Men. But it's not cool if I have to come up with my own shit. It's not fun. And now that they're implementing more and more and more measures, people are losing interest. Because if I'm going to see they don't want to make original creations. I don't think that's what everybody's afraid of. They're like, Hollywood is cooked. That's what I always see people talking about with like generative video AI. It's like Hollywood is cooked. But it's not, though. Because the people who will use AI to generate a bunch of images and videos, they don't want to generate full movies for themselves. They don't want to do that. They want somebody else. They want real actors. They want AI to play with toys. And if they restrict it and say, you can't generate an image of Luke Skywalker fighting Wolverine, people are going to... They're going to lose interest because that's the appeal. That's the appeal, is that. I think they actually made a big mistake. If they want AI to succeed, I think they made a big mistake by shutting that down, because people do not. They're showing off this new series that's completely generated with nothing but AI. I think it's Hagsfield generated the series. It's like an isekai. The guy gets sucked into a computer, and now he's in a video game world. It looks live action, but it's not. It's all AI generated. And I watched the first episode of it, and I was like, this is fine. And I'm not saying... that's another thing. I see a lot of anti-AI people who will see something and disingenuously say it's complete fucking garbage. There's nothing redeeming, because they don't like the fact that it was made in AI, with AI, right? That's not helping. You have to be honest. You have to really look at something and say, hey, made by AI, it may as well be dirt. That's not true. There are images on screen that look realistic. There are things happening that, can trick your brain into seeing something that's visually entertaining. You have to engage with it in a intellectually honest way. So with that said, I watched the series. I was not compelled. I don't know if I wasn't compelled because I knew it was AI. It's possible. I can't kill my bias entirely. Or that there is a subconscious part of you that knows you're not looking at something real. Because they did pay a guy for his likeness to use him in this AI series. But it's not him. It's just his likeness. There is something about watching it where part of me can tell it's not real. It'll be quantum computing next, and the market will lose its mind hyping that. Quantum computing? Maybe. That sounds like a pretty solid prediction. Hello, Fireplank Games. Welcome to the stream. We are currently AI ranting. By we, I mean me. Carmack has been wrong before. It's not like VR has significantly changed the world. He was also wrong about saying that story in video games doesn't matter, and I think he half retracted it. He said he still believes it to a degree. The AI pushback is building. Look at DLSS5. NVIDIA misjudged that. I don't think they did. There was an enormous pushback against DLSS5. I'll give you that. That's true. And I think NVIDIA knew it was going to happen. I'm getting conspiracy theory right now. Okay, so they dropped the DLSS5. They were like, look at this. Everybody was like, no! And then they're like, oh, I'm pulling it back, I'm not doing it. I think that was the plan. That's my conspiracy theory. I think they knew it was going to get backlash. I think they always intended to do exactly what they did, how they did it, and it was all accounted for. So there is, and this is if you know your history, there is a statement from the Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx, which, look, if you're a communist, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm very anti-communist. I am not I'm not commie. I'm very anti-commie. That's not my vibe. That's not the vibe here. But I'm bringing this up because there is this quote, and it's a very revealing quote to how oppressors think. It's a very revealing quote to how people who want to destroy what you have think. And the quote goes, take 2 steps forward and then take 1 step back. If you do that for 10 steps, you will be significantly further along in your agenda than you were before. All of the people working in the AI industry know that there is an enormous chunk of the population who hates it, who rejects it, who wants nothing to do with it. So in order to, they know that. They know that any AI product they release is going to get fucking flamed by a very passionate base of people who have nothing better to do than be on Twitter. And the way, that's why I think that everything regarding the DLSS 5 was completely planned. All of it, every step of it. Because you drop something big, you take 2 steps forward, like you really overreach. And when people inevitably throw a fit, you take 1 step back. You say, oh, yeah, no, we agree. Sorry, we completely misjudged that. Here you go. No, we agree. But you don't fully retract. You relent a little and you make it look like you've come to a compromise. But it's not a real compromise because you're further along on giving them what they want than you are on getting what you want. And if what you want is to maintain the status quo, which is the anti-AI position, by the way. The anti-AI position is maintain the status quo of the way the world was before AI existed. And the pro-AI agenda is completely change the way everything works to revolve around AI. There is no compromise here, but it will appear as though people are reaching compromises, but it's not. What we will see is a steady, calculated progression towards a more pro-AI society. AI wins this battle. It's already won, by the way. This is not a battle. This is not a fight. This is a slow burn towards complete artificial intelligence integration into modern society. It is inevitable. It is unstoppable outside of nuclear war. All of the fighting about it is just delaying it. Every compromise is an opportunity for them to take 1 step back to appease the masses, wait a while, and then take another 2 steps forward. I live in North Cal and drove to, I think that's San Francisco for your birthday. I got cut off by Waymo, and literally every billboard was about AI. Traffic has always been bad there, but the self-driving cars is abysmal. Damn. Not a commie while talking about how capital is distorting the purity of art. Sure, comrade. Hey, listen. 2 things can be true at once. All right? I understand what you're saying. Look at everything Google has done since they dropped the "Don't be evil" as a motto. That was never real. You can't be a corporation of that size and not be somehow evil in some way. And I'm not anti-corporation either. Again, I'm just the messenger. I'm just acknowledging reality. If it is a bubble, it would be ironic if the GPU processor demand and related cost surge that was blamed for the driving the increase of console prices would also be a stress that pops it. I have another conspiracy theory about that. I think that all of the demand to run these AI and data centers and all of this and all the water is only partly true. I think it does require more resources, but I think that the amount of resources they're claiming it requires is a justification to surge the prices far beyond what would actually be required to justify continuing to provide for these data centers. I think they probably needed like a 6% increase, and we're seeing like a 5 billion% increase. It's money. That's about money. AI service is not the penny stock that it's sometimes treated as in requiring only a minor investment with a huge payoff. Fuck no. I personally know a couple of people who have poured way more money into AI than they have gotten back out of it. There are some people who are more honest about it, where they own it. They're like, nah, dude, I don't think this is going to make me rich, but I have fun playing with it. And feeling like I'm working towards something that's going to like get me rich is the fun. Like, I don't actually think it, but maybe it will, and I'm having fun. And all I was doing before this was just playing video games. And this makes me feel like I'm doing something that's working towards something. So, you know, they're being more honest about it, at least. Knew that would get... Yeah, true. There have been cases where a service has been more akin to a literal penny, requiring more than it's worth and the resources to sustain it. Yeah. Who are you, comrade? Question. That is not a question. I don't understand the intended question on that. Have I tried out the Starfield up? Fuck no, dude. I was notoriously anti-Starfield after playing it for the first time. I think that game is bad. I think that is a bad game. I think that is not a valuable... It is fundamentally broken at its core. Starfield is not a game that can be repaired through updates. It's not. It is flawed on its concept. It is flawed on its world building. It is flawed in its faction writing. It is flawed in its plot writing. It is flawed in its characters. It is flawed in its systems and its mechanics. It cannot be saved. You would need an entirely different game. So no. I have not tried out the Starfield update, and I'm not going to. And I sure as hell I'm not paying any money. I don't know if they've charged money for the... I don't know if it's an update or a DLC. I thought it was a DLC. I watched somebody break down what the DLC had, and it's worse. I watched somebody break down the story of the new faction that's supposed to be like the Galactic Empire, and it somehow made the game worse. Have I seen Crobcat's new video on RE4 versus RE4 Remake? There's a new one? I know he did that other one years ago that really popped off and made it popular. Not even the awesome Keith David could save Starfield. No, you can't save that game with a fucking voice actor. Even a great voice actor like the venerable Keith David. The game it's broken. It is a broken game. All of the best parts of it are good by happenstance of having come from other better games. Everything about Starfield is not good. I don't think it's a bad game. If I did say, I probably have said it's a bad game, but I don't actually think it's a fundamentally bad game. It's just not good. It is a firm 5 out of 10. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the stream, Hammond. Welcome, brother. Good to have you. You missed an entire rant on AI, but... Here's my coffee. You'll probably never try Starfield. You're really not missing out. There's a lot of better games that you could play. No Man's Sky is better in every way. Everything that you could potentially... Not everything. 8 out of every 10 things you could potentially want from Starfield would be delivered better through No Man's Sky. And if Star Citizen Squadron 42 is actually a real game that they're claiming it is, that's probably going to be way better as well. Through the Fallout games for the first time recently, I think they're great. Yeah, the Fallout games are great. I've never played 1 and 2, heard great things. New Vegas, one of the best RPGs, for sure. Big New Vegas guy. I like Fallout 3 a lot too, but New Vegas is clearly the best of the bunch. I didn't like Fallout 4. I've never played 76, but I was not a fan of Fallout 4. I'm really just waiting for Squadron 42. I'm probably assuming again that it's a real game. I choose to believe that it is. 42. They said it's feature complete. Elite Dangerous is a thing if you don't want to play Starfield. Not going to say it's better, but I can't do Elite Dangerous. I need a game that offers more than space trucking. What am I playing lately, and why is it the Resistance games in preparation for a full retrospective? I'm not playing the Resistance games in preparation for a full retrospective, but I do want to. There is there's an actual list of games that I want to do videos on, and then there's a mental list of games that I want to do videos on. They're the same, but the mental list has a lot more games on it. Resistance is not on the physical list, which means it's not likely anytime soon. But it is a series of games that I do want to do videos on. The next video I'm doing is Everything or Nothing. Script's already done. Unless something insane happens and I decide not to do it. But the script's done, and it's fucking long, so I don't see that happening. Maybe it will. Sly Cooper is going to be the next series. Bond is too fucking long. I can't finish it. I could, but I'd be miserable. So I'm going to put out the Everything or Nothing video, and I'm probably not going to do any more Bond games for a hot minute. Other than the new one that comes out next month. I'm going to do a review on First Light. But that's going to be it. And then maybe later this year or sometime next year, I'll revisit and pick up from the Bond series. But I need to do Everything or Nothing. I think it's very important that I get that game done before First Light. But then I'm taking a break, yeah. I want to finish Quake this year. So I need to do Quake 3, I need to do Quake 4, and then I'm going to do a segment on Quake Live and Quake Wars. But yes, back to Bond. Added a jank-ass FPS mode. Not that that should change. It does not change my stance. Sons of the Forest might pick it up when you... Oh, I've heard of that. I played the original Forest. It was pretty good. Excuse me. Quake is... I have been grinding on these Quake games since January of last year. I need to finish it so I can put out the full fucking video. So I need to do a video on Quake 3 and a video on Quake 4. And then combine them all. I want to do that sooner rather than later. And I want to do a video on Daikatan. I have no idea what that's going to look like just yet. But in the upcoming future, normally I would save this for members only, but because there's so few of us here, I'll just go ahead and reveal it. Everything or Nothing is the next video. Then probably Sly Cooper. The Sly Cooper videos are going to be shorter. I'm doing them closer to the format of how I did Black, where I kind of focus more on a topic and then just kind of touch base on the story rather than fully breaking the game down. So I'm aiming to do a video on the Sly Cooper series and just have it be like 30 minutes per video and then combine them to a compilation. Thoughts on the rumored Ocarina of Time remake? I didn't know there was a rumored Ocarina of Time remake. I think that's cool. I'm not like a big Nintendo guy. I liked the original, but I only played an hour of it, and I played it here on stream. I played it on stream here, so. Ever do Valheim? Maybe you should do a community run. Valheim. I've heard of that. I am planning far more community. I want to start doing live streams where I play games with you guys like that. I've been saying that for a long time, but I'm actually getting close to being in a position where I can do that. Valheim, what is this? This is like a medieval fantasy kind of game. Is it like a survival? Is that what this is? I've heard of this, but I've never played it. Okay, it's exploration and survival. Procedurally generated world. Okay, that could be cool. But if I was going to do that, I would just do Minecraft or something. No Man's Sky. Needs no remake, but I know it's going to print them money. That's the tragedy of remakes. Games that could benefit from a remake do not get remade, and games that were already perfect do get remade because they sold well. The games, when publishers are looking for games that could be remade, they look at the games that profited the most previously. So a game that really needs a remake is Killzone. A game that would probably maybe get a remake is Horizon Zero Dawn. You see how that works? Unfortunately, the Zelda Ocarina of Time remake, the new Star Fox game, and other rumors were likely fake leaks by Nintendo in order to catch leakers. Okay, cool. Star Fox is a series I really want to do a video on, but that would be like that would not be full in-depth retrospectives per game. That would be more like I just played them all and then I made like an hour video about the whole series. But I really want to do a video on Star Fox at some point. Not Zelda. That's just not the kind of game that I think I'll ever do videos on. I try to never say never, honestly. I try not to use the word never, but very unlikely. Legend of Zelda series, Metroid Fusion, Smash Bros, F-Zero, Star Fox. Star Fox is the only one of those that I can see myself doing a series on. Metroid, maybe, probably not. I think it's already been covered to death, and I don't really have anything to say about it. Star Fox, I'm actively more interested in. I'm actively more interested in that one. Viking Minecraft, not a big fan of Viking aesthetic, so that's not really a seller for me. I would just play Minecraft. Or better yet, like I said earlier, I would just play No Man's Sky, which is sci-fi Minecraft, which is what I actually want. Star Fox needs a new game. Like, probably not. If they made a new Star Fox game, I think it would probably be terrible. Like, I'm looking at footage for Squadron 42 right now, and it looks like a real game. So, what's the fucking holdup? What could possibly need to be done on this game? They're claiming, okay, Chris Roberts claims that Squadron 42 is feature complete and fully playable from start to finish. And he is saying he wants to launch a beta in 2026, which is this year. The campaign is described as a cinematic narrative experience containing over 40 hours of gameplay developed in parallel. We'll see, man. We'll see. Has a great fan PC port, Project Starship. It's decompiled from the source code and ported to PC, high FPS, high res. Really? Okay, that's cool. That'd probably be the one I wanted to. That'd probably be the one I wanted to play. Blending of Armored Core and Ace Combat with animals. Be reviewing Nintendo games on your channel if anyone's interested. Oh, that's cool. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That Chris Peter Molyneux Roberts saying that? Yeah. That is Chris Peter Molyneux Roberts saying that it's feature complete. So, playable start to finish. The fact that Star Citizen has been going as long as it is, it pisses a lot of people off, but it's honestly a very exciting prospect to me because that game is such an anomaly. That's such an anomaly of a game, dude. Peter, it just works, Molyneux. No, that's Todd. That's Todd. I'm sorry. That's Howard. Peter, Todd, it just works, Howard. It just works. Didn't work on Starfield, Todd. All right, guys. That is it's after 5. I've got a lot of work to do on the next video in preparation. It's been fun. It's been real. It's been cool. I am going to be trying to stream more. Maybe do a game stream pretty soon. I don't know. Wanted to touch base, hang out, see the fellas. Follow me on Twitter. I'm going to have my Instagram and TikTok up pretty soon. I'm going to start posting on Facebook and stuff. I'm going to start like reposting my old content. So we're going to see how that goes. Pretty excited. Breaking news, Marvel Studios has been hit by layoffs by Disney. 1,000 plus gone. Nearly the entire visual development team, only a skeleton crew left. Damn. All right, good luck to Daredevil Born Again Season 3 then. That's fucking terrible. Is released Star Citizen. Got to keep collecting the eggs from the Golden Goose. You only kill it for your final meal. Okay, well, they're never going to release Star Citizen. They're going to release Squadron 42, which is the campaign standalone game. But Star Citizen MMO is going to be in development until we're dead. Great stream. Have a great night, guys. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. It's been fun. It's been really cool. I hope I'll be live again later this week. We'll see. I have to go work on some projects. And I hope to see you guys in an upcoming stream. Maybe I'll stream a game or something. We'll see. But something. I don't really have an ending for these streams. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. Much love. Join my Discord.